So there is a lot of buzz within the sport community about what's best. Is it best to bring old members back to the club, or is it best to bring new members into the club? So I thought that once and for all in this video, I'm gonna let you know out of a marketing perspective which actually works the best. So stick with me around in this video and we're gonna cover exactly how these two compare against each other. Now, before I get started, let me know who I am so you actually know that I know something about these things. My name is Ruben and I've helped dozens of clubs to grow both when it comes to membership size, but also when it comes to coaches, revenue, and everything that actually makes running a club easier. Now, before I get into the rest of the video, if you want to see more about what we do at growyourclub.com, you can click on the link below and it's going to take you to our website where you can read more about it. It's free, so you don't have to worry about that part. You can just actually go ahead and see if you qualify to work with us, and we are more than happy to actually jump on a call and see if we can actually help you with any of the stuff that we do. Now that I have said that, let's get into the video. Like I said, in this video we are comparing which is best. Is it better to bring old members back to the club, or is it better to bring new members into the club? Now let's start with the old members, because I think this is what I'm hearing now a lot from the clubs that I'm talking with, that there is this trend of like bringing in old members is a good thing to do. And to be honest, you know, like I can kind of see why the clubs think that way, because like old members, they already know the sport, they already know how everything is done, they already know what's expected from them. So it kind of feels like bringing members but not having to actually educate them on your sport, which is great, right? Everyone would like that. Just bring a lot of people in and not having to go through the hassle of actually teaching them your sport, making sure that they understand everything, making sure that they can take care of the equipment. So I really see why this sounds like a compelling thing. The thing is though that there are pros and cons with everything. So even though there are pros with bringing old members into the club, reality is that there are of course some cons to it also. The first and probably the biggest con of all of them is that they are quite hard to flirt, right? They are not that easy to bring back. I mean, in order to bring someone back that already have been within the sport or within your club, then you probably are looking into something like a discount or like a way to attract them back into the sport, right? Which makes it, first of all, just like right off the get-go, if you're gonna bring old members back, in the short term you're not going to make any money, because you have to give them like they know what the sport costs, so you have to like lower the resistance so they actually come back to the club by giving them some kind of discount, which, I mean, depending on your club situation and your economy, maybe it's not the best thing to do. But now let's say that you actually have the economy to do that and to bring the coaches in. Just like I said earlier, these old members know what the sport costs, they know the pros, the cons of the sport, and they actually have some kind of emotion to the sport also, which, I mean, probably you think it's going to be a good emotion, but there is also a reason why they left, right? So probably their emotion to the sport is maybe not the best, or their attitude to the sport is probably not the best. And to be honest with you, like what have happened, maybe they have been teach within your club, or maybe they've been on another club and they've learned how to train on that club. And then if you bring them into your club, they're already going to have this idea of how you behave, which maybe is not exactly the same way that your club likes to run things. So it's going to be a little bit of a resistance there from their part to actually fit into the new setup, which also adds to the cons of bringing old members in. So like I've said, first of all, you're not really going to make any money on them in the short term because you have to give some kind of discount. Second of all, they probably don't have like the best experience with the sport, otherwise they wouldn't have left. Third, they probably have already learned how they train or how they behave within the club. Maybe they've done it in another club and now they have to relearn that, and maybe there is some conflict there because their way of doing stuff maybe is not the same way of doing stuff at your club. And then the last thing, which I think most of the clubs oversee, is that it's quite hard to bring people that already have quit back to the club, because not only do you need to convince them that your sport is good, but you need to also convince that things have changed. So imagine how hard it is to bring new people into your sport, and then you can multiply that by 3. That's usually how hard it is to bring someone that already knows everything about your sport. Your sport is not sexy at all to them because they know all the pros and cons, and they probably also start at a minus because otherwise they would actually train your sport and not have quit in the first place. So that's everything I had to say about bringing the old people into the club. Now, I still see why clubs want to do it. What I'm saying here is that it's not as easy as you might think. Now, for some clubs, maybe this still makes sense. But I would argue that for most clubs, it doesn't really make that much sense to have your full focus on bringing old members. For sure, you can run like a small campaign to bring old members or to reactivate members that have actually quitted, but that shouldn't be your main way of seeing growth at the club. That, oh, we're gonna just bring people at the club because we have lost so many people throughout the years, and if we just bring those people back, then we are all good. That's never gonna happen, because if you have lost people, you more or less have lost them for good. Some of them maybe come back, and usually those are the ones that you didn't really lose them, they just had something else they were doing at the time and they felt busy and they dropped off. But most of them, the ones that actually felt that they didn't get any value, or they felt like the sport was not fun enough for them, or they just were just tired of the sport entirely, you're gonna have a much harder time bringing those people back than you think. So now that we covered that side, let's talk a little bit more about bringing the new people in. Now, of course, if we start with the cons on this one, they are quite familiar to most clubs. You need to make sure that you take care of them. You need to make sure that you put a lot of hours into them to get them at a good level. And for most clubs, most of the beginners actually leave because they are not making a good job on actually taking care of the people. So I kind of see like why most of the clubs are starting to like focus on like, oh, how can we bring these old members that have dropped back to the club? Like, it makes sense because like they've got burned so many times of bringing new people in, because you put the time, you put the hours in, you bring the coaches just to leave these people leave. But I still think that bringing beginners in is probably the best way of growing your club. Like I said earlier, I'm not saying that you should exclude totally the people that have been within the club. You can always run reactivating campaigns, but here should 80% of your focus go. You can give 20% to the people that have dropped out by actually doing some kind of campaign to bring them back, usually like a mail campaign or something similar. And then when it comes to new members, 80% of your focus should go there, because even if you need to put a lot of time into them in the beginning and they are hard to bring in, they are the ones that actually allow your club to get to the next level. Because if you really think about it, like, the experience that you bring to the new people, if it's a good experience, if you frame things right, if you make sure that you take care of them from the get-go, then first of all, chances are that they're going to stick with you much longer because they're having a good experience. They start actually from a 0. If you compare it to the people that have left, they start at a minus emotion because they left. These people don't know anything, so they already start at 0, and you can just build up from that. And also, going back to the thing that I said earlier in the video, bringing in beginners is probably the best way to bring reliable, consistent money to your club, because by giving people a good experience and by offering them a good service, you can actually charge much higher than you're doing right now. And most of the clubs are actually undercharging. And just like I said earlier, if you're going to bring an old member, you are not going to be able to raise any prices or make sure that you actually can give them better delivery and get more money. You should probably give them some discounts so you actually lower the barrier of them coming back. But when it comes to beginners, you want to actually have quite some high pricing from the get-go, give them good experience and get them into the club. And what that's going to allow you to do is that you can bring a lot of beginners at a good price, which makes sure that you first of all cover your club expenses, you can reinvest in the club and make it a better place, and you can bring also better and better coaches and make sure that you pay your coaches so that the whole experience at the club is better. So I hope that this clears things out for you. Maybe you are a club that have been thinking like, oh, what are we gonna do this coming year? Are we gonna focus on getting old members in or focusing on getting new members in? I would say that 80% of your time should go to bringing new members in, because like I said, they start from zero. They can actually become a really big asset for your club if you structure it well. And 20% of your power should go to people that left, just so you actually try to bring them in, but don't put too much focus into that, because that's not how you grow your club. You grow your club by bringing fresh people in and making sure that they stay within the club. And I would just like to end this video with something that I hope most of you are actually going to resonate with. Even if you have lost thousands of members throughout the year, I mean, depending on how big your club is, probably you haven't lost that many, but let's say that you have lost 1,000 members throughout the years, like throughout the last 10 years, which is a lot. I don't think that any of the clubs watching this have lost that many, but let's say that you have lost 1,000 people throughout these years, then that number sounds like a huge number, and you think that just if I get 10% of those, I'm going to be happy. If I get 100 members. But imagine how many people actually haven't even tried your sport. Think about that in your city. Let's say that you live in a city with 1 million people, and let's say that your sport is a niche sport. Let's say that it's like sailing or fencing or rowing or whatever. Probably, I would argue that 90% of the people haven't tried your sport. So you have 900,000 people versus 1,000 people. So I hope that actually brings the point home. Focus on the more people, focus on the people where you can build everything for them and where you can ask them more in return than the people that you ask less in return to just get them back. So that said, hope you got some value out of this video. Hope I cleared things out for you. Like I said, if you want help with this stuff for free, doesn't cost anything. We have a model where we make this work for clubs for free. Just press on the link below, read a little bit about it, send a actual interest, and maybe we hop on a call and see if we can help you out. That said, thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day. Bye.